Hey everyone, Ashton here again, and welcome back to Muse Themes. Today we're going to explore our new product preview slider from Muse. Now this is a pretty simple product image slider, but it's pretty awesome and slick. It acts as sort of a one-stop shop for single product variants. As you can see when I scroll through the images here, the product label text stays the same, but allows us to explore all the various options, each of which can have their own price. So the idea here is to have the slider images reflect different variations of one product, but as you can see here on the demo, it can be used over and over to create an awesome looking shop page. Now keep in mind that this slider is not hooked up to an e-commerce system, so this is best used if you already have your product connected to an e-commerce system on your site, and you use this widget for the actual images that are displayed. It could work very well in conjunction with one of our e-commerce widgets like Shopify, Snipcart, or even PayPal custom buttons, since all of these have buy button options, and with these, you utilize your own product images. Alternatively, if you don't necessarily sell the products on your site, you could just use this widget to simply showcase them. Let me switch over to Muse where I have a simple product page mockup here with some details about some clothing and a sample image. And let's say we want to remove this image and replace it with our new product preview slider widget. So let's jump into our library, grab out the widget, and drop it onto our page. And I'm going to remove the sample image that's there now, and we'll position the new widget right in place of it. Now let's talk about sizing. The size of the widget container does affect the size of the slider, so you're going to want to size this widget container to the general size that you want the slider to appear. So let me just size this down just a bit, and we'll position it nicely next to our description here. Now by default, we can see the widget is set to responsive width, and here you can decide if you want the slider to act responsively or not. The widget will function either way, it'll just more depend on your page layout and what the desired effect is. Just keep in mind that it can resize to a pretty narrow width if it's set to responsive, so in this case, setting the widget to a wider setting on desktop may be a good place to start. Alternatively, you can turn off the resizing completely and just manually set the desired size for each breakpoint on your page. One more thing to mention here, as we saw in the live demo, there is title text that appears in the bottom left corner of the slider. So if you're using long text, it might get jumbled up if you're using large fonts. So when styling the widget, keep the text length and sizing in mind. Let's jump into the options panel. First up here, we have a toggle option for our product description. Now this enables or disables all the text at the bottom of the slider, including the title and the price. It doesn't disable the scrolling dots, but those can be disabled in the dots styling section, which we'll cover in a moment. So within our description options here, we of course have our product name and product price. So let's give it a name, Winter Jacket. The price option here sets the price shown in the description. Now again, just a note that this price is not linked to an e-commerce system, so if you're using a buy button or similar, you'll want to make sure that this matches to the correct product price. Let me price our product now at $35. Followed by product link. Now this is optional, but you can use this to link the product images to another page on your site or even a page off-site. Now since this widget is intended for all images to be associated with one product, the same link is applied to all images in the slider. Additionally, the link requires a complete URL to be entered. So in other words, if you wanted to link to another page on your site, you need to enter the entire address for that page. And if you don't intend to use this feature, you can just leave it as you see it as default now with that hashtag or pound symbol in place. And finally here, link target allows you to determine if the link opens in a new window or the same browser tab. Next up is our image loaders, and you can load up to 8 images into a single slider here. So let's click into the first one. We can start by adding our first image by clicking Add File, and simply navigate to wherever you have your images stored on your computer. And here I have 5 variant images of a winter jacket. So let's pick our first one and load it in. There we go. Now beneath this, we have an option to include a sale price. So if you have a particular variant here that has a sale price, you can click here to enable the sale price and then enter the price below that's different than the price listed in the top of the widget options. Now each of these 8 image loaders are identical, so you can have up to 8 product variants and up to 8 price variants if you choose. I'm just going to go ahead and load in my other 4 images so we can see the slider in action. So continuing with number 2, so let's enable it, and we'll add the image in. Great. And number 3. And let's put number 3 on sale at $29. Great. And number 4. And number 5, and we can make number 5 on sale as well. Let's say $25 just for the sake of demo. Awesome. Now that we've got our images loaded in, let's give this page a preview. Perfect. Our slider is already looking awesome. I can hover my mouse to see the sliding trigger, and I can click back and forth as much as I want to see each variant. And just like we configured, we have a sale price displayed for the 3rd and 5th variants. Awesome. Let's really quick jump back to the settings panel, and I just want to quickly run through the styling options. Now, pretty much all these styling options are really self-explanatory, so I'm not going to explain them one by one, but we do have a section here for container styling. So inside here, you can determine the background color, border, and shadow of the container itself. The next section is the description styling. Again, another background color selector, followed by the font styling for the name of the product, price, as well as the sale price. And this is where you'd want to play around with the title styling if you have a long product title and are finding that it's displaying too large in the container. And finally, our section for dots styling. You have an option here to disable them if you choose, followed by more sizing settings, color settings, and border settings as well. So that about covers our product preview slider from Muse. Thanks again for watching. If you have any questions or concerns, don't hesitate to reach out to us in support, and we'd be glad to assist. Until next time, thanks again for watching, and have a wonderful day.